This entrepreneur went from a high voltage electrician to a celebrity chef and fitness coach. And he's worked with some amazing people such as Nick Cannon, Aaron Donald, Justin Fields, and that's just to name a few. And it was a pleasure because we had one of the best conversations I've ever had. We talked about his journey from going from a good paying job into his own entrepreneurial world where he didn't know what was gonna happen. We talked about how what he thought was his weakness was his superpower and just a lot more. What's up, you guys? My name is AJ D'Andrea. Welcome back to the Monday Mindset. And speaking of working, I've been working overtime to make sure this episode comes out on time. So make sure you guys subscribe if you find any value. Make sure you guys watch this whole video because there is so much value in it. It's insane. No pun intended. Let's get right into the video.
My name is Arron Sain. I'm a private chef. Also, I have a meal prep company that I started back here in town for the community. Insainy Fit Meals. So it's a play on my last name because my last name is Sain, S-A-I-N. So, man, I'm just a human being just trying to help as many people as I can, you know?
What do you feel like has been some of your good moments with the whole meal prep and the food and the cooking as well, being a private chef?
Man, you know what? Satisfying the people.
Yeah.
It's a euphoric feeling when you can prepare something for somebody that wants to lose weight and they're starting to see the progress.
Oh, absolutely.
It's also euphoric to see somebody sit down and just to have the ability to engage with you without even having words to say.
Absolutely.
You know, everything speaks on the plate. That's how I choose, or that's how God chose to give me the ability to show love for people.
I'll tell you what, you are non-short of having some accolades for some of the amazing people that you work with. Can you tell me what it was like to work with some of these people that you've worked with or who you worked with as well?
Well, man, my first celebrity was Nick Cannon. I was working at ComEd as a high voltage electrician. I was working at ComEd for maybe 10 or 11 plus years, off and on. I'm horrible with dates because I'm always just head down, just working.
Yeah.
And then by the time you look up, you're like, damn, I've been doing this for how long?
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? But I was a high voltage electrician, had an opportunity to go out to Atlanta and cook for Usher's mother.
Oh, wow.
So she was starting her own shared kitchen and she wanted to start managing chefs because she was like, you know what, chefs are like rock stars too. Y'all just don't have any management.
Absolutely.
So that situation kind of dissipated. I got out of that contract, and as soon as I got out of that contract with her managing me, Nick Cannon just falls out from the heavens. I didn't really think he was going to answer me back from my DM, but it was just wild, man. So
that's crazy.
That was my first client, and you know what I've learned from him, I learned what hard work and really prioritizing your days look like because for him, his whole schedule is mapped out from the moment he wakes up. And when I say prioritize, I'm talking about training and breakfast with Arron Sain. 9 o'clock, we need to be at whatever studio. I got an opportunity to see what hard work really looks like.
I mean, I'm sure it was probably an opportunity that was like eye-opening.
Oh, very much, man. I mean, to sit in the office with some of those meetings and hearing those numbers, man, the one thing that I would say is, man, when you get around certain energies and when you get around a certain level of success or guys that are hell-bent on getting to the next level of themselves, it has to rub off on you.
Absolutely.
You know, so that situation created a hunger in me that I'm not giving up, you know, so I learned a lot from that situation, you know.
I could imagine going for multiple years, you're doing high voltage electrician, stuff like that. What was your mindset like when you had the opportunity to say, hey, Nick Cannon wants you to cook for him? Did it bring a sense of anxiety?
Man, I was nervous as
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? I've been in Joliet, Illinois all my life. You know what I'm saying? Working here, and to be completely uprooted and gone to another place where you don't know anybody, it was terrifying for me. But I say this to a lot of my clients, and even sometimes I say it to myself.
Yeah.
I had to believe in the belief that everybody else had in me until my belief kicked in of myself.
Absolutely.
So sometimes when I'm not sure of myself, I have to lean on the belief that the people that have watched me be cultivated into who I am now. That's why it's great to have people that's not gonna bullshit you.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I need to
Absolutely.
know, let me know if I'm good. Let me know, does this taste right? And then after I got to LA, and I remember telling Nick, I was like, man, I'm gonna get you abs in 3 months. So 3 months. And he was like, man, you know what? Look, I
Yeah.
hear you. 3 months later, man, he had a fucking six pack. And now he's
Wow.
believing. Once that belief kicked in and he saw that I was knowledgeable by way of not just words that I was speaking,
Absolutely.
by actually being able to get a visualization of where we was going and me being able to articulate that and then put it on a plate and whip it up in a gym, it just the dominoes just started falling.
One of the other things I saw on the wall, all the athletes that you work with, what is it like working with them? They have to tap into their energy at all
Yeah.
times, and you have to give them a lot of energy with food that they eat. What is that like working with them? Who have you worked with too as well? And like, how does that play an impact into your life?
Man, you know what? I think that's where my tagline had got birthed from, by any meals necessary.
I love
And
that.
the thing about that is, like, to go from Nick Cannon to Arron Donald, which are two totally different body structures and two totally different careers, to cook for him after cooking for Nick Cannon, those are different calories. That's a different intake, the different recovery times. It made my skill set and knowledge base, I had to be broad. I couldn't just, okay, I'm just gonna work with, celebrities that post on TV and stuff like that. It forced me to grow. I got an opportunity when I started working with Arron Donald to like calm down.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, Nick is here, there. We're on tour. We're all over the place. He has meetings all day. So I went from a hectic lifestyle and learning how to be calm in chaos. And I'm not talking about violence or anything. I'm just saying just a chaotic day of feeling it all the way up to the brim with things to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes having to be ahead of him as far as eating. And then you dial it all the way back with Arron Donald, that's very chill through the whole season. I'm just working just with him. When his family comes into town, I cook for them. But for the most part, I get to focus all my energies just on breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. I didn't have to train him at all.
Okay.
Dude, it gave me, I believe that in that moment, God gave me a resting period, but it was still working while resting.
How did you go from this electrician into just cooking for like these great people?
Well, I started my meal prep company, I think maybe in 2015, 2013 or something like that. Cause I used to be in bodybuilding.
Okay.
And so I was cooking my own meals, and I remember going over to a lady that had a meal prep company that was already established. While I was still working at ComEd, I wanted to just get some knowledge on the ins and outs of running a meal prep company. And I went over to her establishment and I asked her, could I work for her for free? And she said no. And I was like, damn. I was really hot as she told me no.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I think I might have even shedded a little tear as I was getting back in my car and I'm driving home.
Yeah.
See, life has a way of putting you in situations that opens up many doors that are inside of you. And when she told me no, I felt so defeated. I'm driving home. I'm like, man, fuck it, but I got a good job. Let me just go home.
Yeah.
And like I said, something clicked inside of me and I was like, man, that. And I reached into my pocket and I had $100. And I said, man, I'm going to the grocery store and I'm gonna start my meal prep company now.
Yeah.
So I started this whole journey started with $100 worth of groceries.
Wow.
And a no.
That's important. That's so important, because I feel so many people that have been probably told no.
Yeah.
They just take that and that's it. They the one no. Maybe two. But then so many people will just take that no and just be like, all right, well, maybe it was not for me.
That no triggered something in me that pissed me off to the point to where I was like, oh no, okay, I'm gonna show you what you missed out on. I'm gonna show you made a bad decision. You know what I'm saying? So that was a turning point for me right there, that one no.
For somebody to say like, hey, that no really lit the fire under me. Obviously, I feel like they light a fire, but it's temporary. It's like, oh, I'm gonna prove you wrong. And then a month later when you're like, man, like this is tough. Maybe she was right, or maybe this person's right. What did you pull out of you to get that drive, not only for the time being, but that inspiration, that discipline to continue on for years on after?
Dude, the results that other people were getting.
Yeah.
People telling me how amazing the food was. People reaching out to me saying, man, I can finally fit into this dress. Look, man, my wife, my husband is looking at me different. Then I went to work and everybody's complimenting me.
Oh,
so
wow.
sometimes, I mean, for me, it was watching somebody else shine. But when you light that fire, bro, you also got to make sure that you continuously are throwing fresh, good logs on that fire.
Yeah.
You got to make sure the information that you're taking in is good wood. The people that you are hanging around with are of good substance when they put that on the fire, because a lot of times it only takes a couple logs for you to throw on that's damp to extinguish that fire. So I kind of make sure that I'm always feeding myself with the right information, the right music, the right spoken words. You know what I'm saying?
You know, one thing that was interesting about the conversation we had, because we had a great phone call before we you know, obviously met, and it was just, there was a lot of stuff that if you told me this a year ago, you might have just fast tracked a lot of things I had to learn just in the months coming, right?
Yeah.
And the reason that it hits different is because I could genuinely tell from your experience that you've experienced this stuff. You really put that word into action, because there's a lot of people that in theory, oh, this sounds good. You're somebody that actually left a very well-paying job.
Yes.
How does your mindset play a factor into how you're able to push yourself through this tough time?
Sometimes you need to know what you're not to know what you are. You know what I'm saying? So don't despise the days of small beginnings. So that was one of the first things that I had learned. Hell, I'm not a high voltage electrician. When I come into work with the guys and we're in the middle of a meeting and everybody's sipping on their coffee, looking at today's work, there were guys that were in there that was biting at the chops to go out there and just get it done. And I wasn't one of them guys.
Yeah.
It took a while for me to be at that job until I got depressed.
Okay.
And I was really, really depressed, making really good money. My purpose wasn't being filled. And one of the worst things, bro, that I believe that can happen to an individual is for them to be wildly successful in an area where they're not supposed to be at. Dude, I mean, I remember meditating and praying. I was lost. And it's just a couple different things, man. Like the more lost I was, the more direction I found, which is weird. I remember having a dream where I was at this building and I went to the elevator. I pressed the elevator button. The door didn't open. A group of people came, they pressed the elevator, door opens, they get in, they go up. Like, damn. So I go over to the elevator, I press the button again, it doesn't open. Another group of people come, they press the elevator opens up, they go in, they go up, and I'm like, man, what in the hell is going on? As I'm walking to go press the elevator again, God was like, yo, he said, you have to take the stairs because you're going to have to take the long walk to hear God talk. And so for me, I've never had a shortcut. I've never had nobody in the industry. I didn't have anybody to like walk me into the door when I first started all of this. Yeah. You know, so when people ask me, how did you get to where you got? I just started. Yeah. And I made sure that I was consistently consistent in what I was doing. I remember God told me that depression was my superpower. And I'm like, how in the hell is my depression my superpower? And he was like, because you have found and learned the ability to still operate and execute with a sense of greatness, even when you don't even want to be around. If you can learn how to still grow and operate and execute in dark, what happens when the light shines on you? Because you're always performing at a high level. Even my clients would be like, man, damn, you going crazy in the kitchen, man. What's going on? I said, bro, I cook like you gonna fire me every day. And I put a lot of pressure on myself. I'm always nervous. Even if I've been cooking for you for a year or two, whenever that flame comes on, I put some music on and I'm dialed in. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, just even talking about this just brings back a bunch of like emotions. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting goosebumps now because I know I'm still in the process. Yeah. And I know at some point I'm gonna have to get thrown back into the fire to burn off whatever impurities, because a lot of people look over the fact that how as amazing as I did last year, that version of Arron is still insufficient for 2024.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
And I'm not one of the guys that has the ability to not panic or be anxious about getting to the next level of myself. I'm always trying to get to the next level of myself. And I got that from my clients. I mean, Aaron Donald is a dog during training, when he's training.
Yeah.
And he's crazy competitive. He's always looking for a way to get better. James Conner is psycho when it comes to working out. When I was training him, I was literally trying to kill him.
Oh, God.
And he'd just be like, "What's next?" And I'm just like, "What the fuck?" Like this. But see, it meant I'm them in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So we always vibed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I get the opportunity to build warriors up for a battle on Monday, on Thursday, on Sunday. So I take my job very, very serious. I get excited about actually getting the opportunity to work with these guys.
What's your advice to the person out there that's just lost right now, the person that's depressed, but they have a vision in their mind? What would you give them, and what would you tell them to try to kind of like paint that vision in their head, or like help them paint that vision in their head, that they can do whatever is possible?
First and foremost, man, you got to seek God in what your purpose is. Not passion, because I'm passionate about music, but I suck as a rapper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to take a look at those things that are screaming to others that you are overlooking, because everything that you need is inside of you. When I was cooking, I was just cooking out of a hobby or to cook for my friends. It took people that's on the outside. That's how it is in life. It was other people confirming in me what I was overlooking as just as a hobby. Once I started to lean into what my strengths were, or what I was good at, then things started to unfold. Once you start seeking what your purpose is on this earth, like, why the am I here? And when you can hang on to that, and when you can find that, bro, it's like the dominoes just start falling into place, because now you're on the right path to get the things that you need.
Man, I can't thank you enough. Make sure you guys check out his meal prep business. I mean, it's like, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna order. Some of those dishes just look absolutely amazing.
I try to make sure when people sit down to have a meal, they don't think diet. I want people to feel happy about the next time they sit down and pop one of my Insanely Fit meals into the microwave. Also, the protein donuts are going crazy.
Ooh,
that's one of Justin Fields' favorite things. Francis Tiafo loved the protein snickerdoodle cookies. I mean, so we have products out there. Insanely Fit Meals. I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, hey, I appreciate you as well, man. So
now it's time for me to go upstairs and cook you something.
Yeah, hey, that's special.